Well, hello, welcome everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, a place where I discuss different topics like spirituality and, as of late, game interpretation and game design, especially game design, my own projects. And this time I am gonna present the final aspect of my university, the way it's gonna look, the what I want to present is that, well, although I don't have a better looking title in the sense of, the title and an actual intro picture, which the intro picture was commissioned for another project of mine, what I can say for now is that I have finished a very great part of the game in the sense that the visual redesign of the game is now fully complete. It is uh, almost the final one. I still have some extra details to add, but well, that is to be added in time. Okay, not it's not necessarily something critical, but okay, we will see about that. So all this being said, let us get into the visual aspects. Like this video game is gonna represent, in the case you didn't know, the life of any one of the five playable characters. And all I can say is the graphics changes have been fully added. They're all, working. So I've taken great care to the detail, just like usual. And, there are still some minute aspects. But what I can say now is that the game is working as it should. The graphical changes, well, they are made and, well, they disregard the AI. Okay, the AI is still the old one, so don't mind, as I've been saying up till now, don't mind it if you know, you will see characters moving through walls and such. You cannot move through these. I made like perfectly sure. And I came with an ingenious idea to make the wall transparent so that players can actually see through it. And yes, there are still some awkward tile interactions. Like in here, yeah, I forgot about this case. This fence allows moving by it, although this bush does not allow it. And this makes a conflict, which results in the passable tile win, allowing the player to move in, otherwise impassable terrain. So I decided to adopt a more Asian approach to the game in the sense that, hey, well, first of all, the name of the university, Shizuoka University of Art and Culture, it is a, how to put it? Oh yes, it is a real university that well, I don't know how it looks on the inside because I've never actually been there, but this is how I envision it, and most likely I ended up making it look much better than in reality. But well, basically that's the purpose of any game, to portray things that haven't yet happened. Okay, so or to put things in a much better light. So yeah, all this being said, the walls have been fixed finally, and well, yes, there is a space in here where the player can actually get, but that is intended because you can basically almost hide behind that. So, just like in Japanese schools, and I heard universities as well, they have this habit where they come and they change their shoes. So I made this area here which didn't exist. There was this path right here. It was the continuation of this path until here, and here there will be a office, let's say. There were actually the sigils. This belongs to the student council. Okay, this area belongs to the student council, who makes sure that everyone that comes in is legit. They already know all the students of the university, so that won't be a case. This will be useful somewhat for what I intend to add as a mission mode. If you don't no yet. I've been inspired into game design by Yandere Simulator, a game that I've been really impressed by, but I'm not gonna dive into it because there's a lot of negativity surrounding the dev, and that's definitely not something that I'm interested in adding, okay? Now, while this writing I might actually correct and, do, redraw, probably, to have it look much better, it's okay for now, okay? I'm gonna add some color to it. So what I want to add as mission mode is basically a separate way of playing, a way of playing in which you don't necessarily have to kill people, just like in Yandere Simulator. Now, the fact that my game and the other game have, a school and students, there will be a lot of logical similarities, okay? But I'm interested in placing accents specifically on psychiatry, psychology, and, well, different disorders, different perceptions of life, and sharing some of the wisdom that I have acquired throughout my time. Even if I'm 30 years of age, I have acquired some wisdom, which I don't mind sharing. So, yeah, all this being said, this was made so that students and the new AI, which finally that the visual updates are done, like 99% they are done, there are only a few touch-ups. Now I can finally focus on what I really like, namely the AI, because for now you can see the AI is still bound to the through on function, namely it moves through anything irrespective of being impossible or not. That's how I initially designed the AI, because when an AI would get stuck like in this situation, they would freeze the game because, well, I had a very crappy way of creating them. They were autonomous movement, and that has a high priority, and if they cannot move, they will induce a huge resource consumption to try to solve that problem. That's how lag occurs usually in games, but it's not the only reason why lag occurs. So I shortened this part a bit. I removed a few of the events of these falling petals. I wanted to create an intro just like in Yandere Simulator, because I really loved that entry where you see those floating petals. Now, these were custom made. I mean, they were made by me, basically, these petals, and they were animated through events. Initially they were separate events. Now there is a single event handling them, and as you can well see, they are above the player, because they give a very genuine sensation that they are floating through the air. And I also have these falling petal animations that I increased a bit the waiting times. And I also have these petals that fall in here. These were the original animations for this. These were actually in this place, but I kind of didn't like them because they were like they were too brightly animated, so I said no, do something softer. Okay, one other change that I've been adding, like seriously, are these tiles. These have been created by myself, and I must take great pride in my Japanese drawing skill. Because of my high resolution which I use, you may not necessarily see the kanji, but if you use the typical resolution, 2000 and the such, okay, for a monitor or something like that. I think RPG Maker has 700 resolution, 780, I'm not sure exactly. This is restroom. I don't remember all the Japanese names, but when you see this, it also is written in English. It is restroom. So let's actually see the restroom. This part in here was left like this. I'm not having any plan of changing it, but the point is I cannot start the AI without doing the graphical changes, because once I'm finished with the graphical changes and I start the AI, I can't make any other change because that will be painful for me. So mainly what I used are tiles from Visustella and Kokoro Reflections, like this beautiful fountain. It's not animated, yes, but well, it is still awesome to have. So this is now a restroom for some reason I still have some leftovers here that disallow me from you know actually wait. Oh wait, this is the map that actually has completely different tiles situations, like you cannot move outside of the bench, which was an interesting logic I came with. What I added are these poles. They kind of don't look well, you know, like, yes, I know, but at least these are indicators. All these tiles I drew by myself, so how these indicators work, it's like if there is something on the body of this pole, it means that it is, if it is up here, it is that way, okay? If it is in the middle or lower, it is around here somewhere, or you know, downwards, okay? If it is rightwards, it shows, hey, there is a, you know, to the nearest restroom go this way, to the theater club go this way, to the botany club go this way, okay? This part was open air. Now this is basically a building, and well, I really enjoy this. Okay, I've taken a lot of time to, you know, create all these. It took me around 1 month and a half. I don't know how many hours, but several hours per day for sure. I also added these beautiful poles. I don't know what creator they have, but I really love. I'm really thankful for all the, I think, almost $2,000 that I spent on assets, tile sets, and music. Like, I've got 65 gigabytes of music for my game. Now I know I'm a very heavy spender, but point be said, it's always worse if you want to create something great. Yes, I know you can actually move through these. I'm not yet sure how to arrange their mechanic yet, but I will come up with something for them. As I said, there are still some minor incongruencies, but they will be handled as well. Okay, so let's move to the next change. The theater club, this part here has been broken, okay? The poor AI that would go this way and then up can no longer go. This has been the old building here that you knew. Now you can actually move below. You can actually move in here. And you can actually move in here as well. And you can exit in this. Now why this is darkened is I used a transparent tile, okay? And this is basically like this because there is basically a roof over this, okay, a glass roof that you can see through. And you can actually get to the first floor here by here, right over here, okay? And here is the first floor, which probably you remember. I added some poles in here for the, you know, extra light, and there is one extra tile you can move below, and you can move on this beautiful bridge, and you can get down. This is part of the botany club, okay? The botany club, I think I'm gonna turn this roof, I'm gonna change it, okay? Now as it says here, this is the theater club. Oh, I forgot about the door in here, because it actually has an event. It actually has an event in here. Now this is part of the theater club, and this is the dressing room for the females. You can actually enter it, and there is the locker for the guys, okay, for the actors. It's well barricaded, you cannot move outside. And again, the sigil for the theater club. All of these, they were personally done in Sakan. If you're interested in things like this and drawing Japanese kanji or Chinese kanji, feel free to ask me. I might be interested in you know, trying my luck on a few designs as well. I added these beautiful poles in here so that, you know, it looks a bit more promising, and I changed that black ones with the red one. I mean, it's a bit more animated. I don't have anything against the non-color black, but well, it's a bit more open, it's a bit more vibrant. That's the difference. So what it says in here, there is the science club to the right, so you have to get this way for the science club. The arts and handcraft, they are upwards actually. I mean, you have to go forwards basically. The behind part, there is no such thing as that. I misunderstood. And this building belongs to the botany club. As you can see here, it's Shokubutsu N or Botany Garden. Other changes I've done to the handcrafting club. Now, the point is, I did a mistake in here with the martial arts. This is not a martial arts. I put this tile over something else, and the reason why it is in here. Now how this goes is basically this was an outside building, but now, I mean, it was just a platform and it was all outside. Now it is inside. I also have a door. I actually have two. I designed accidentally two of these tiles. I mean, you can see handcraft and handcraft in here. It's arts and handcraft. Okay, and the point is, there are basically two. Okay, there is an arts club which fused with the handcrafting club because, well, I don't want to have 100 clubs. Okay, and I also have the botany club, which is a fusion in between a gardening club and a botany club, so they're both together. So let's actually step in. And it actually says Tetsukuri Kurabu e Yokoso, okay, or welcome to the handcrafting club. Again, these beautiful transparent windows, tables to work stuff on. Now another thing that I'm interested in my game is to have almost everything, every object in here be interactable. And here is the ground floor. You cannot proceed to the first floor unless you go up the stairs. Okay, and here is the first floor. I also hit some of the cameras. And you can also close the door from inside. And you can actually see yourself in there. Okay, let's see. It was Anata wa ima tezukuri kurabu osatte imasu. Okay. I added more of these poles. I actually suffered, I think, 1 or 2 crashes because of these, because there were too many tiles. You're probably not familiar with the fact that my project is actually big enough that it's crashing like mad. Okay, so let's see. Unfortunately, there is a problem in here that I still have to change. I will have to handle that, don't worry. This part also I have to change. The building in here I have to change. I accidentally changed the this one to immovable, so I think that's the problem. This is a place where students will be running. They're already programmed to do that, but unfortunately they can no longer access it. Okay, this still has to be changed. It's the so-called central heating station. There will be probably 1 or 2 missions regarding this. Other than that, it's just gonna be some empty space with little to no importance. Again, this character, I don't know why they end up in here. Their coding is correct. They should have ended up in here, but well, I don't know why they end up in here. Alright, the way you will sit on benches will be handled by an item that can be triggered only when you are on the corresponding bench, and it will actually sit the player in the correct position. I don't know if I've been showcasing these, okay, like I've done a lot of changes in here, but problem now is that I have also made some mistakes. I had an old window tile which I replaced, and now unfortunately it looks like this, but this will be handled. It will be corrected, don't worry about that. So the new science club actually is a bit more animated. How can I say? I added some, you know, these devices in here, this beautiful table. This device is still in here because, like, why not? There are these consoles. You can actually close the doors, but I think I forgot to create their events. You can actually see yourself through here. You can actually take a seat at the bench. This one will be animated, but the animation isn't yet here. Don't be surprised if you see characters in awkward positions. Okay, this kind of doesn't work. And these are just remnants of tile sets. When I changed them, I added so much stuff one over the other, and there are still some of those remnants even till now. So this is the northern entry, or basically not necessarily northern, it is the upper entry. Again, this is an entry that, you know, has been equipped with these so that people come and change their shoes according to Japanese tradition and way of thinking. I also forgot the janitor door. It needs to be added in the initial event. Now this hideous animation is still glitched, I know, because I made a boo-boo. I changed it and it doesn't have anything adjacent to it, so it's just reading some random tiles, I mean the tiles next to it, which are in existence, so that's why it is black. Okay, the bathroom. This is the infirmary ward, which is also written here in two versions, like this one and the infirmary ward. This is more like for the player to see. And what else I did? I also did this beautiful entry in here. This wall was, you know, inseparable. You couldn't get through, you know, from the infirmary ward here. You can actually handle the doors now. Now this of course, this is part of the theater club. Theater club is one of the biggest clubs, along with the literature club, and it actually has a whole range of students. Up till now I think there are like 22. Yes, some of the walls are still glitched. I'm gonna handle each and every one of these situations. But again, I'm still far away from the end game. Alright, I changed this part, actually added some toilets. And there is this back room also. There should have been a sink in here, but well, for now there isn't. Alright, so let's see. Yes, in case you're wondering, some of these tiles can actually be walked upon. I know the character is shorter, but I kind of don't like the logic of my character being here and they're actually, you know, manipulating stuff in here. It's like they're telepathically doing it. It's like, no, no, no. My logic is suffering, okay? It's like, no, 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 that cannot be right. The Shokubutsu N, okay, the botanical garden. It's a bit blank now, yes, I know. I will still have, as I said, 99% of it is done. I have a lot of aspects to add. Again, some falling petals. And the middle of the garden has been changed compared to the old one. Like, feel free to watch the 9 months special video. By the end you'll see that here there were 2 bridges and I replaced them with these, and I also added this beautiful I don't know what you call this, okay, but you can actually, you know, you cannot walk through those, and you know, you can actually take a sit on the bench once I create that item. So here we have some other indications. You have the science club to the left, we've been through it. The arts and handcraft, we've been through it. Handcrafting separately, we've been through it. It's, in that case, it's one and the same. We have the theater club, and in this way we also have the botany club again, and we have the martial arts. We have the English class, which I forgot to show, and we have the martial arts again, as I accidentally drew 2 tiles for them. And we also have what I call the science facility. So this is the second part of the botany garden. There are still a lot of glitches, and for now I cannot remove these things. These appeared because I overlapped this green tile, okay, with them. I put those on, and when I added the new layer, which is this blue, for some reason these still appear below. I don't know, in the worst case scenario I'll have to go in the JSON file and actually delete them manually from there, which honestly I wouldn't want to do because it's like for each tile in a in turn. I've added some of these beautiful tables, okay, and here is the exit, which I, you know, made much better with a lot more windows. And here is the martial arts club, the main part. There is another one at floor 3. What we have here is the cooking club, okay. You can actually move behind the walls because, well, why not? There are still some incongruencies, yes, but hey, that's no problem. And below there is the dorm, which you can also enter. I made these little bridges. Again, they have that black roof, okay, as you can see. And again, I have to change this window tile, yes. Now I have 2 of the same window tile, and I've overwritten one of those. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have? So we have the entry, okay, which, well, I have to make sure that you can actually not walk over. Alright, I added these tables in here. Maybe some NPCs here I didn't add anything yet. Maybe the NPCs will be drawn to these. Now this again is the name of the university, the Shizuoka University of Art and Culture. Shizuoka Daigaku Bungaku when I don't remember exactly what that is left. All I know is this Daigaku, which mean university, and this is student dorm and restroom. Okay, so in here we enter this place, and for some reason I cannot step on this. I don't know exactly why, but let's actually move through the other part. The ground floor is the one that I've taken the most time to create. It's also the biggest at the same time. I still have some blunders. Now what I have here is the Heartbeat Club, as it was called initially by one of the playable characters, and then and heartbeat in Japanese it's Dooki, and well, unfortunately these aren't necessarily correct. I actually created the tile for, if I remember correctly, I created the tile for Dooki, the literature club, and I don't know, I also added it, but I didn't put it on the map specifically because I added it in the tile sets. Okay, so each of the floors will have this, which is what I call a restroom, which is also seen here, and this belongs to the student dorm. So let's see, can we actually enter it? No, apparently we cannot enter. I think I forgot this green part, as you cannot walk over it. So let's head real quick to see that I added the English class, which mostly I can't present as some kind of, you know, huge success or something, but let's actually finish with this part. Okay, so I added these tiles a while ago that actually say which class each class is. This one is class 1-4. I think I should add somewhere around here for the player's convenience. You can actually move behind all these walls as I promised. And here there is another reception. This is usually for foreigners reading about, you know, Japanese culture. The point is that universities create their own food in there, inside, which makes it quite cheap, and you can actually use, as even a traveler, okay, a foreigner, you can use the canteen. So that gave me some ideas. That gave me some ideas. And this is class 1-1, the first class that I ever created. And this is the redesigned Shodo class, or calligraphy class. Okay. Can actually move literally behind everything. Actually close the doors. And in here I also added some of these lockers as well for any other student. I don't know, I might keep them, I might not. And we also have the English class, the latest edition, because it's art and culture. Now I'm not fully interested, you know, in keeping to the you know, original curricula of the university, because basically this is my game. I can't say my rules, but you know, alright, now we also have restroom. This is basically another restroom. where some people can actually paint. And I also decided, since I had a lot of space, to add something like a music club, which basically doesn't have much, but I also don't have too many tile sets, tile sets locations left. And we also have these two exits. And we have animated water in here, because why not? It's like, if it is Asian, okay, it must be truly magnificent, right? Here by the entrance, the main entrance to the university, we have two clubs, which I forgot to create names for. Again, this is one floor and you cannot move to the upper floor because, well, you can also move in here. But if you want to move to the upper floor, you simply cannot because the staircase is here. And here you are at the first floor. There is another desk in here. And here you can actually come outside. And of course, you can actually move in here as well because this is basically the first floor. This is the first floor, and to go down you have to go through here. Alright, I think this was the esoteric sciences. No, this is the esoteric sciences, but for some reason there is something that disallows me from entering through there. I really don't understand what. I have to take into account more what's preventing me from going through there. It happened once, I changed those and I could move. Now apparently I can't move because it's basically the same tile as in here. Now we also have the new stage, which again for some reason I cannot step on. But it doesn't matter, I will solve it. And I also added these beautiful lights. And the big change that I did is that here the pathway was only one because the wall would be up till here. Now I decided to make the wall transparent, like you can see in here, and I also added a few tables because this is the foreigners. This is for foreigners. Okay, the student dorm of the foreigners. For the moment it is not accessible, and I said, well, if I have this building, why not actually put a stage on top of it? But for some reason I cannot move on the stage, so I don't know, probably I blundered something. And now we have the computer studies, okay, this part, martial arts. This is the bureaucracy and judicial proceedings club. I also have something like that. And this almost finishes our tour of this floor. I'm gonna present the whole university. Okay, so in order to move to the upper floor, we have to go to the closest building. Let's actually move to the other part of the university because there is another part which I've also been showcasing. Okay, this is another part. Okay, this is just an alley, and one big addition that I made is this building in here, which basically there was the continuation of this wall, and I deleted it and I added this. Initially there were animated tiles, but they were consuming quite some resources. Like, the game is still requesting some resources, but initially it would have around 42 to 45%. So I've done a huge load of optimizations. So yeah, I'm gonna increase the waiting times of some of the parallel events that go on because there's basically a lot of them. And I don't like using map-bound parallel events anymore. Any parallel event that I have, it's strictly common event because those are more optimized. So I also have this in here, you know, the recycling part where you can throw some junk, but later on I will make those interactable. Okay, so let's see. This was it, the building itself. Now this is a big park, okay, in here. And what I have here is another entrance, okay, you can enter through here, and again these lockers for you know, students to put their shoes and change with a pair for you know, internal usage, I mean. Here I have some paintings. This I edited myself through Sakan because they are basically in Sakan, but I don't know if they're in RPG Maker anyways. Alright, so let's see. There is a lot in here to see, especially these bushes which have Nihon, which is how you actually spell Japan. This building was an old one, you could not enter it, you could not do literally anything. Now it is the, I don't know exactly how you call it, the resolution is kind of big so I can't actually read it. I think it's Kanri Kofu Kiri, no, Kikai or something like that. It's something regarding healthcare. It's a big part of the university, okay? You have the ground floor again, and then you have the staircase that leads you to the first floor because you cannot go to the lower floor from here. The healthcare is a union in between the student council, the physical training club, and the martial arts club, okay? And this is a big building, kind of, you know, where sports people gather. I don't know how you call that in English, the words are kind of slipping. And of course, logically speaking, you can actually move below it. I also drew the shades for that. And okay, let's actually move further. Let's see, do we have something lower than this? Oh yes, we also have. I actually lengthened this. I kept the shade to show how big the wall initially was. And now you can actually walk, you know, and you can actually see the character and any other character behind. It's not logical, yes, but screw logics, okay? It doesn't have to be fully, you know, 100% logical, okay? I mean, it's basically a game, so, okay? And, you know, students can actually stay here and paint, and, you know, more benches, yes, and again, Nihon, okay, Japan. Another place where, you know, students can run and make, you know, they run laps. This usually belong to the physical training clubs. These are the new, you know, places where students change the lockers for this part. Okay, there are several lockers around here. And yes, the swimming pool, swimming part, I have tile sets for those as well, but no place to actually add. Okay, yes, I know you can walk on the water like some other folks managed, but well, for now it's not gonna be an importance. I was also interested in doing the clock as transparent, but it looks horrible. It looks horrible. So I have no choice than leave it here, because this way the player knows it's at least 3:30. These clocks have a picture for, you know, like all the possible hours of the day, like every 15 minutes I mean, for each of the 5 playable characters. Each playable character actually has their own color, and picture. Here we have a football pitch. The goal I drew myself, again in Sakan, because why not? And I changed the location of some tiles, so obviously there will be some incongruencies like this, but I don't mind those. And here is another running lap, you know, places where students can actually run. Here is a goal. Now you cannot touch it now because for some reason you cannot move inside, you cannot move outside of this green area. So let's see. Now we are entering the science area because it's arts and culture, okay, and I consider science an art of the mind. Okay, it says science facility. Okay. Here is the restroom of the science facility. Here is a kind of a class, you know, the facility itself, where you have a class, people working on different plans and such. They have tables to chill out, consoles, some apparata and the such. And of course you can actually move below these, you cannot move through those. This is the marvelous exit. All these walls can now be walked under. I actually did a great job in here, but you know, again, still some incongruencies, some, you know, awkward tiles. Usually there's a bad tile interaction. This bridge here, which I added, I also added this staircase to it so that you can actually climb down. And if someone would go through here, they reach the bureaucracy and judicial proceedings club, which was changed. I also added the toilets. Okay. I actually deleted this, but for some reason the greatest disappointment that I have on RPG Maker is that it doesn't have a delete tile button, so that it deletes all the tiles that you have on a certain square. Now in case you're wondering, no, you're not moving under the wall, this is basically the entrance. And I, you know, removed the shadow here to actually show that there is something. This can also mean something else, not just you can. This is the only place where you can actually walk under. This is the computer science class, okay, the amphitheater actually. And I should also add one in there, yes. Teacher's table. Let's actually, oh yes, and here is the last addition, this part. And this alley in the back that goes around the science facility, and it leads here in between the trees. And for some reason I cannot go in here, okay. You can actually go below all these, all of these. Now let's actually see. Well, almost all of these. Okay, there are some tiles that I had to disallow movement, mainly because okay, let's actually go upstairs through these stairs, okay. I also wrote the Japanese name in here, Japanese writing, which says goes to the third floor. Okay, but here there is a problem. This is to go down, and you also have Ikai. Okay, there is no ground floor in Japan. There is just, well, the first floor. So the second floor is basically the first floor for Westerners. And again, let's see the changes, the beautiful changes. Again, we have science facility in here. This actually doesn't mean that it is in this way. It shows that from here you're entering the science facility. I added and created some of these again for all the classes now. Oh yes, as I said, I have the library. Okay, I actually created the tile for it, and it looks much better, all I can say. And you have room where you can read stuff in silence, and you also have a VIP part. Okay, here, this is the place where you have the most silence. Some of the classes have something that I call an annex. Okay, this is basically an annex. It's a part almost separate. It's a separate part where you keep some resources. Alright, you can take a seat. Alright, where should we go next? Okay, let's see. This is the psychologist's office, which has been tremendously changed. I have an old event in here, and you know, it would take place in here because the table was here. Now I also added this beautiful table in here as well, and I added some, you know, graphics mindfucks. You can actually move through here. You can actually move behind these. Okay. You can actually move in here. It is legit, like it's basically how it is supposed to. Okay, you can move in this background you know, room. You can actually move like this behind this wall. I think I'm gonna remove this because, you know, like you already have one entrance. It's not important to move through here as well. And you can actually see stuff in here or in here, or you can actually see stuff in here or in here. And then the most impressive thing in here, you can actually move behind this window from here, which is something most people wouldn't expect. And I also have a clock that changes. It changes by hour. It doesn't you know, I don't have enough tile sets for you know, the minutes, but it does show, like you can see it's 5:30 and it shows 5. When it gets to 6, it will also move to 6. I will have more of these clocks added. This is class 2 too. As I've been saying, classes also have a annex, which is basically a place where you can store different things, or if you're careful enough, you can store some corpses if you decide to kill stuff. I mean NPCs, but I'm the kind that if you even dare touch someone and kill them, well, there will be 1,000 repercussions, because my game will give the player the ability to kill, but not without any substantial repercussions. Okay, so don't focus too much on that. You can actually move behind. And you have restroom. Well, basically should have been the student dorm in here. I still have to tackle these. Okay, now what I have here is the student dorm, which I couldn't show at the previous level. And there is a piano set in here, 2 of them, you know, like students can actually practice the piano. Take a seat and you start playing. Alright, now let's go and see. There are some tables in here on this small corridor. Okay. There are some computers here to play different games. And here is the sleeping part, which we couldn't see in the previous part. I added these beautiful windows as a separation. Here are some of the beds. Now I don't know really what people would be thinking, but yes, I know I don't mind adding a lot of details. Let's actually go to the other parts. There are the toilets in here. All of these have functional doors. I think there are some minor mistakes still. Oh yes, this one doesn't work because I have the same mistake that I did at floor 2. I'll also have to tackle that as well. Since I decided my building to have almost an age, why the fuck aren't these actually working? Or I didn't add them, or I think I added the coordinates badly, because these are coordinates based. Okay, so there is this bridge that leads to the left wing, where we have another infirmary ward. Well, it's basically the first floor of it. We have the theater club. This was changed. This is the entrance on the stage, and students actually get to change in here. The theater club members actually change in here. Yes, it is working as intended. You can actually move through that part and through this one as well. So yeah, what I can say is a lot of detail, a lot of attention was put into this. This is the upper floor of the science club. Getting a bit tired, but no problem. So we have class 2-7. This is the floor that has the most classes, and it has 2 annexi, one here and one here. We have the toilets in here, which I still have to test because for some reason I had some troubles, stood hours on end to handle the mechanics. And of course I fucking got stuck again, because the fuck why not? Oh, there is a cyclic event that conditional script error. Oh yes, the security cameras have one little error. Yes, I know. So let's see, dollar game player dot reserve transfer. Okay, I have to take care of that specific tile. I don't know why it's so problematic. What we have here is a canteen. I added some of these like at each floor. Why? Because as I said, universities serve their own food, and even travelers can come in and use the university foods. And I also created some tiles here where you know these, when there are in twos, you order for the food, and here you leave your tray after you eat. Okay, there are some tables here to with food. I think I'll be adding an extra class in here or something like that. The lifts mechanics aren't yet implemented. Class 2-4, and I also added a watch clock, and as you can see it shows 6. It's 6:30. I also have a weather system. It's still funny that it's raining inside buildings, but well, point is that will be addressed. There's no problem with that. Let's actually go to the next floor. And it's still basically kind of the same thing. We have where on the previous floor it was the psychology part, here is the principal's office. Okay. There are still some changes that I need to do. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's go to the science facility again. And here they are correct. Like to the previous floor, you know, the floor above, below and the floor above, right? It's the second floor, which means it's Nikai, or the third floor in Japan. So you basically have go to the first floor, which is well, wait. Second floor is the third floor basically, so it's Sankai, if I remember correctly. So you can go here to Nikai, which is the second floor, and here you can go to Shikai, I think, or Yonkai, no, Shikai, okay, which is the third floor. So the science facility, okay, it has a different look. We also have a bathroom at floors 1, 2 and 3 with a toilet that actually is working, or should be. Alright. Now let's actually exit. We have this other part in here, and oh my god, I have to actually change the tile. This is painful a bit, but I will also change the tiles back. Alright, so now let's go back. So I added the windows here and I forgot to add the fence. I also have to handle that. So there's a lot of inconsistencies. I'm only seeing them now that I'm actually moving around, because I haven't been testing the game that much, like honestly. So now you can see that it's 7, although it's almost 8. So until it's 8, it's gonna show 7. This is the teacher's office. Now we need to move to the third floor, which is the most interesting one, I can say. The third floor is different in the sense that it is no longer a full building. It is the second floor finishes in here. Okay, this part here is basically the ceiling of the second floor, and this ceiling has several buildings separately. Okay, these buildings are, well, this central one belongs to the Botany Club, okay, which has a minor office in here. Okay, and then a lot of tables in here. The Botany Club is also a big club. And you have this huge space where you can usually walk around, learn a bit about the trees. You also have a toilet in here. If I remember correctly, these actually work. And these maps actually take, or should take less, but again, this influx is because of an error with the security cameras, if I remember correctly. Now, outside of this building, okay, it doesn't say exit in here for nothing, and here there's basically another exit. Alright, we have this beautiful stage, which one can actually go up through here and, you know, go down through here. You can't move through here, of course, but, you know, the presenter goes up here and they present stuff, while the actors go back through here and, you know, they actually change. For some reason this shouldn't have happened. I made sure that it shouldn't happen, but well, for some reason now it does. I have to take this into account as well. Oh my gosh, so many things. Alright, so now through here the girls can go to the boys in case something needs to be checked real quick. And one other thing that players might not figure out quickly is that you know, the actors come through here and they get up on the stage. Okay. If you go through here, you come here. If you go through here, you either come in here or you come in here. I really love how these have ended up. Now we have one of these places as well, a beautiful statue from Kokoro. This is the staircase to go back to the previous floor. And now we're gonna leave and we enter some of the other new stuff which I added. Okay, this is the arts and handcraft part. Okay, where people paint. Okay. Again, you order in here and you shouldn't be moving in there, but okay, screw it, it doesn't matter. The point is that in here the player can only reach when they work, if they get hired for this part. Well, actually it's a good thing that I can also leave, because there should have been a spot here to enter, but I'll handle that also. There will be a cashier here that will sell some of these, you know, sweets. This is basically another canteen where players can serve themselves. This is part of the botany club, and for some reason I can't move through here. I really don't know why. And I also added a toilet in here, a washing space, and from the martial arts club you can get into the fitness club, well, the physical training. And well, on that side, not yet. Oh yes, I have that dumb mistake again. Which, instead of stepping animation, I said something else. I said walking animation off. Ugh, I hate how many mistakes there can be. But it doesn't really matter. Now in this corner, I created the student council area, okay? And here is the security surveillance area, which I fitted with some extra stuff, and it's closely related to the student council, whose purpose is to not quite fiercely, because one of the playable characters is basically the one in charge with the security. And the science facility, I said as a point classes will have a maximum of 12 students because I don't want overcrowded classes. And as usual, a private bathroom and 3 separate toilets. Now, okay, this one's broken. Not surprised. This one was also a problematic one, but I'll see about it. Okay, so let's see. This is the class, the science class. Okay, for this one, where members gather and they start discussing stuff. Let's actually head to the least presented, the rooftop, which I also consider a masterpiece. Why? Because I have added the most trees in here, so I equipped with a huge amount of beauty to be the most beautiful part. And I also added Starbird's sigil in here because many of the tiles belong to him. That's part of, as a sign of recognition. There are several of these stages, okay? Science theater club stages, and okay, so there are a lot of trees. Now, what I saw when I was looking at the original Shizuoka University of Art and Culture, it actually has a wavy roof, which I could not replicate in, square-based game design. And, well, the point is, it has kind of a park, which you can basically walk through. So I decided, okay, let's actually take it top notch. Now these clocks will be replaced with the real clocks. And let's see, falling petals and the cherry tree animations. So many trees in here. Basically I reserved this space specifically for that. Also, regarding the soundtrack, yes, it will be changed because I'm kind of bored of this song. It's kind of boring me out. Alright, so this is like full open space in here. And it goes around, it goes around here. I removed this wall, but for some reason it's still showing, so I have to delete it as well. Some of these are ghost tiles, namely I removed them but they still show up. So this part in here hasn't been changed. I have added several tile sets, but this map is the last map that I'm gonna change visually, because they're gonna be the least things that happen, mainly, at least for now, so I'm not too much into, you know, changing it. Let's see, does it? Oh yes, it actually works. Okay, so hopefully, you know, you like the type of content that I'm creating. Feel free to like and subscribe, feel free to share your opinions, share your points of view. You are loved and appreciated. Keep RPG making, and all this being said, take care of yourself, your loved ones, and looking forward to hearing your opinion on the game. Take care, you are loved and appreciated. Ferenc Board signing out.